So today I'm going to talk about the incredible food that I really, really miss about living in Colombia. But first of all, if you like the video, please smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the little bell notification so that you know every time I upload a video. And for all of these dishes and these foods that I'm going to talk about today, down in the description there'll be a timestamp. You can click on the timestamp and it'll take you direct to that food. And you can, so if you want to pick and choose which food you want to hear about, then you can do. But yeah, so for those of you who don't know, for a portion of my life, I used to live in Colombia, in South America, and it was the most incredible experience of my life, and it had a deep, profound impact on me as a person. So there's lots of facets to that, and lots of reasons behind it. I'm now married to a Colombian woman, and we've got a little girl. And I just feel connected with Colombia, really connected with Colombia. So today I just wanted to go through some of one of the big things out there is the culture that they have in general out there, but the culture, the food culture and the party scene and how everybody interacts, and it's such a big thing out there, and it's just bloomed this incredible gastronomy. It's unbelievable, really, and it's one of the things that I really, really miss about Colombia. Now, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a cap, I just couldn't put you through it anymore. My head's just gone wild with this lockdown. So because I can't get to hairdressers and it just looks horrendous, I can't do anything with it anymore. I'm just going to start covering it up. So so I hope you appreciate that as well. But yeah, so I'm going to crack straight on. So one of the first dishes that I'm a big eater. I mean, I wouldn't call myself a foodie. I'm not going for any gourmet stuff, but I like food. I like flavors. I like things that I don't know, things that fill my belly. I really like hearty food as well. And so, as I said, Colombia, absolutely full of amazing dishes. And the first one that comes to most people's minds who've been to Colombia is the bandeja paisa. And like, what a dish. It's beautiful. It's similar to, what I'd compare it to is an English breakfast size dish. But it's a bowl, it's an oblong bowl, and you have sausage, or chorizo, you have egg, you have fried egg, you have rice, you have avocado, you have plantain, you might have minced meat, you have, what do we call it? It's chicharrón in Colombia. We have crackling on it as well. You have beans. Oh, it's just incredible. It's just amazing. And that comes obviously from Medellin, but it's eaten all over Colombia. It's just an amazing dish. And so that was one of the first things that I would always look for, is the bandeja paisa if I went out for something to eat, because it's just huge. And it's so delicious. So delicious. So I really miss that. If I could go out and buy that here in England, I would do. And Zuni, my wife, bless her, she very often throws something together very, very similar. So, and that just, I mean, it tastes so good. And the memory, I'm going to give memories for each of these things. But one of the memories that come back for me for that was, a lot of the time, was going out with a lot of my friends over there and seeing all these dishes and ordering these dishes. And I just remember going to the city centre of Bogota, going to these small little restaurants, tiny little restaurants, maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 tables inside the restaurant where the office workers would go and eat. And I remember my friend taking me there, Juan Manuel, shout out, and ordering one of these bandeja paisas and just think, and by the end of it, you're just so full. You can't eat anymore, and it's just delicious. So straight on, I'm just going to list these dishes that I'm missing. And this is a food that I have a lot still at the moment, patacones, which is fried plantain. So if you don't know what plantain is almost like a green banana. It's from the banana family, but it stays green. No, it doesn't actually. It goes yellow because you have patacón maduro. So no, it does go yellow, but you have it when it's green. And the flavour of it isn't like a banana in that it's not sweet. It's almost like potato or something, like that sort of bland kind of, not bland flavour, but no sweetness to it at all. And so what they do is they flatten it down, they chop it and they flatten it. They chop it lengthways slice it lengthways, flatten it, and fry it. So it becomes almost like chips, like potato chips, crisps. You also have it where it's flattened down. You have little patacones, which is where they'll cut it like kind of through the plantain, so that you get the circles, and then they'll squash them down, and then they'll fry it like that, and you can put different toppings on. You also have patacon maduro, which is sweet, and then they add things like bocadillo and different sweet things they put inside. Oh, so good. But my favourite was always kind of the crunchy, crispy, quite thin. So we have that in our house now. So that's part of the Russell household staple food now is patacones. I couldn't live without it, if I'm honest. And then you usually have like different dips, where you have ahogado, which is like a warm salsa with onion and tomato and things. And so you put that on. You also add hot sauce. And again, now because of Colombia, I can't live without hot sauce. It's just always, it's on all of my dishes now, whether it's eggs that I have in the morning or whatever. And then you also have, I think it's more of a coastal thing, Caribbean coastal thing, which is suero, which you also have with your patacones. And that's like a split milk, like it almost become, I don't know what you would call it, I guess. Because that's the way that they do it is they take whole milk and they split it with lime, lemon, and it actually splits out and it becomes almost like a cheesy, I don't know what you describe it as, but it becomes like, I don't know. It's maybe like a part of the process that we, over in the UK, we split and we have the curds and the whey, and then you go on to make cheese, and it's something to do with that process, I believe. But suero. And again, that was delicious. So the patacones, the memory that I have of patacones, above all else, was a couple of things. Living in with my wife's family for a period, and they used to make patacones a lot, and that was delicious. But then we used to go to a restaurant in Cartagena, which was called La Bonga del Sinú, I think it was called. It's just come to my mind. And so when we used to go and order, I used to always go there and order an incredible steak. They did fillet steak and filet mignon. Oh, but the steak, I don't know where they'd get these steaks from. They were some of the best steaks I've ever had. Delicious. Anyway, so you'd order your steak, and then as a complimentary thing, they'd bring out little cups, little mug type things, and they'd have the fried patacon sticking out the top. And then they'd have all the dips. So while you were waiting, it's kind of like having bread on the table here, I guess. So while you were waiting, you dip it. Oh, it was amazing. It was really, really nice. And so, like, I've obviously sometimes I've toyed with the idea of starting a Colombian restaurant over here, and that's one of the dishes that I'd put as a starter or a snack is definitely patacones. And then the suero, my wife's mum, my mother-in-law, her mum used to, or still does, make suero and cheese in the house from scratch. So there was always suero there, and for every meal, it was suero on the plate with yuca. Oh, and so again, it's like the memories, and I miss that. I miss that homemade, that really, really rustic. You know that this food has come fresh. It hasn't come from a supermarket packet. You know that this is fresh, and I really, really miss that. So just skating across in a different direction now. So that was kind of one period when I was living in Colombia. When I first went to Colombia, I didn't speak any Spanish. I didn't really know the country very well, but I was working as an English teacher at the time, and when I first got there, and one of the things that I used to enjoy, or that caught my attention, was a little chocolate sponge cake in a packet that they used to sell in the street or in shops that was called Choco Ramo. And I don't know if they sell it anymore, because I'd heard they'd stopped selling it. So if anybody knows, let me know in the comments. I don't know if they still sell it anymore. But it was delicious. So you'd buy it, and it was super cheap. It was, I can't remember what I used to pay for it. I don't know if it was like 200 pesos at the time, or something, or or 500 pesos. I don't know, but anyway, it was very very cheap. So it was like a little cuboid of sponge, and then covered in chocolate, and it was just perfect just to have a little snack in the day. It was delicious. It was delicious, and those street sellers are a real kind of heart of what goes on in Colombia in the street. There's all the street sellers everywhere, and it's great. I mean, it's something that we don't have in England or in the UK, because you need a permit and you need this and you need that and you need the other. But in Colombia, when you can go and sell in the street, I think some of it is they do try to regulate some of it, but it wouldn't be the same without being able to go to somebody who's selling something in the street, or stop somebody and buy something. It wouldn't be the same. For me, it's a real part of Colombia. So then I'm not only going to talk about food, I'll talk a little bit about a few of the drinks. So the beers out there were, and again, maybe it was because they were kind of they were exotic or whatever. But they were kind of, I guess they're kind of fresh, they're kind of light, relatively light beers, but like there's a few names that I used to always buy, which was Águila, Costeña, and then Costeñita. There was quite a few different, Club Colombia. There's all of these different beers, but so the memory that I have of Costeña was when I was there and I was traveling on the Caribbean coast, so I did like a little tour. That's what I used to drink until I got up to La Guajira, and they sold Costeñita, which is like which means little costeña. So it was a small green bottle, and it was kind of like less. There was less in it, less volume. But yeah, it was just like that's my memory, that I went up to this place called La Guajira, which is like in the north. It's the northernmost point of Colombia, and a lot of it is desert. So it's kind of a peninsula that sticks out, and a lot of it's desert, and there's some incredible things up there. The beaches that we stayed at were beautiful. Just really, really, I don't know, there was something about them. It was quite magical. So yeah, and when we went to the cities, we went to the city of Riohacha, which is the capital city of La Guajira. And there we sat outside these little bars, and we had these little Costeñita beers. And so that was mega, that was. And then there's something like two things separately, but also connected to that, is that there's a drink that Colombians kind of have at kind of little house parties, or I guess you can have it anywhere. I guess there's not, because I drank it in a few different places, but it's kind of their equivalent of a shandy, and it's called refajo. And what it is, it's their own drink, which is called Colombiana, and you can buy it in the UK. You probably have to order it online. But it reminded me of Iron Brew. It's the same colour. It's bright orange, and then it's got a similar flavour, but it's sweeter. So it's kind of like an Iron Brew, but they mix it with their beers, with their lagers, half and half, and that's refajo. So again, I kind of missed that. That was a really refreshing drink. And again, I remember drinking it in different places, but one of the places that I remember drinking it was in. We went to play golf in Bogota with Juan Manuel and Osvaldo, who was another teacher at Berlitz, another English teacher. And so we went and played a round of golf in this beautiful golf course. We did kind of we went round the course, and then we finished off in the clubhouse, and we just said, okay, let's get a couple of beers in, a couple of cans of Colombiana, we'll make refajo. And we did, and it's those little things about Colombia that make it cool, make it special, is that the moments, there are always little moments that you don't expect, and then you just never forget. That's what it is. And I guess that's what life should be about all the time. Life should be about little moments and enjoying moment after moment. And unfortunately, we get bogged down, don't we, by a lot of things. So I'm going to move on to the next dish. The next dish is ajiaco. And ajiaco is a soup, and maybe somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, that it's from Bogota. But again, like an interesting dish. and it's a soup made with potato, with a few other vegetables, with corn, I believe, and then there's a few other like there's one, I know there's one ingredient there's like a leaf vegetable similar to coriander. I can't remember what it's called. No, I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, there's a leaf, and they use it, and it gives it the flavour, and it's delicious. And then they put you can put capers in the top as well, and that again, like, it's just something that I long for at the moment. I'd just love to have an ajiaco, and it's served in like these bowls of, I guess it's lodo, mud. I guess it's like clay. These black clay pots, and then like a little decorative kind of basket and plate underneath, and it's just delicious. And you can it has chicken in it as well. I can't remember if it's got chicken or if you can put chicken in the top. Sometimes you get chicken on the side and you can put it in the top, like shredded chicken breast, I think. So that's delicious. But that's just reminded me, I hadn't written this down to talk about, but so the memory that I have of ajiaco was like, again, similar to bandeja paisa. If it was on the menu, I would usually order one of the two, because those were my favourite dishes. But my memory is, we went to this restaurant, again, Juan Manuel, amazing friend, and he used to take me and to all these different places. So we regularly went to this restaurant called Sopas de Mamá y Postres de la Abuela, which is Mom's Soups and Nan's Puddings. It's like a brilliant name for a restaurant, really. And there, we used to order, as a starter, chicken hearts. And it's the most delicious food. Like, if I could eat chicken hearts all day, every day, I would. It is unbelievably delicious. And some people might be going, chicken hearts? What are you talking about? Chicken hearts are incredible. They're so good. I don't know if people think that maybe they'll be a little bit tough, a little bit gristly, a little bit and they used to cook them. I don't know what they cooked them in, but they cooked it in some sort of seasoning, and it was incredible. And you'd have a few like potatoes on the side, and man, I wish I could eat that more often now here in England. And it used to come on like a leaf as well, like just a lettuce leaf. One lettuce leaf and just like a small pile of chicken hearts, and it was delicious. And you're not going to believe me, and you'll probably never, but it was incredible. So when they arrived on the table, I was a bit hesitant the first time. I thought, chicken hearts. Tried the first one, and that was it. I'm an addict now. So definitely, if you get to try chicken hearts, one thing where you can try chicken hearts, one place in the UK is at the Rodigios, the Brazilian restaurants where you go and it's like like where they come to your table and cut off the meat. If you go there on a busy night, so like a weekend night, I guess, I've seen them bringing chicken hearts round. But again, they don't do it like they did it in Colombia, in a pile on the plate. Oh, amazing. Then another dish that I really enjoyed, or I began to enjoy later, was tamales. So again, a lot of people in Colombia eat tamales. I think in the coastal regions they call it pasteles. But tamales, delicious. So it's like I believe it's made out of corn flour, like a corn dough. And it's like a little parcel, and inside will be meat and vegetables and different things, and then it's wrapped in a banana or plantain leaf, and then it's cooked like that, boiled, I think, maybe in that. And again, so when it comes to your plate, it comes wrapped. You open it up, you break open the leaf, and then just the smell comes out. All the food. Oh, it's so good, so good. I guess it's like their version of a pie. It's so good. So good. But initially I didn't like it. And the reason why I didn't like it, strangely, was when I was working as a teacher, in the morning, we used to have, we used to be teaching groups of like not politicians, but people who work for the government. And I just remember this one class, and they used to come, and I could smell like the smell of tamal. Like I could just smell it while the class when they were talking and things. And I knew it was because they'd had it. They'd just eaten because they said they'd just eaten tamales. And I didn't like the smell at the time, but it was only when I pushed myself and said, "Okay, go and try it and see what it's all about." And I tried it; it was delicious. So that was my memory of tamales. Then the next one is, and again, this is something that we've brought back and we eat at home a lot, quite at least once every couple of weeks, maybe once a week, is cocktail de camarón, which is prawn cocktail, but it's made with hot sauce, onion. Different, so not just the prawn, but different types of seafood chopped up, hence the kind of the real cocktail. And then the way that they would serve it would be with crackers, little similar to our Jacob's crackers over here in the UK, and over there I think they're called saltinas, the main one that people would have. So they would serve it, and you would then have a spoon or a fork, and you'd put the prawns on and you'd eat it on the cracker. And the memory that I have of that, and I really enjoyed those little moments again, was eating it in the evening in Cartagena. There was a little stand, like an outdoor, like a food truck type thing. No, it wasn't a food truck, but it was like a little stand. But somebody would No, it was like a little kiosk. There was a little kiosk, and they would sell all different sea cocktails and things like that. And so they'd have different mollusks and different things, but put into cocktail form. And so in the evening, you can imagine in the Caribbean, in the evening it's warm, it's humid, the stars are out, and you'd go to this little place, and they'd have plastic seats outside, and people just sat outside, having the cocktail de camarón, and maybe a beer, and it's just magic. It's just magical, and you just watch the world go by, and it's really good, really, really good. So that's one of my favourite things now, is plenty of hot sauce, make it super hot, spicy, have it on crackers, and you can't beat it, honestly. Try it at home, see if you can find one, see if you can find recipes. So then kind of that leads, if we're talking about the evening, that leads into drinks that people drink in Colombia, which is the famous aguardiente, which is, or guaro.
Aguardiente, antioqueño, como sea para las que sea.
De la Guajira al Caquetá,
Del Chocó hasta Bogotá,
en Cali, en Valledupar,
sabe bueno allá y acá.
en montañas y en los valles,
Playas, pueblos y ciudades,
todos piden antioqueño,
que la alegría
se comparte.
Como sea para las que sea, aguardiente antioqueño, el sabor de los colombianos.
Which I've seen translated as fire water. I have no idea, but it's kind of like, it's a bit like ouzo or Pernod. It's aniseed based, but they drink it like it's going out of fashion there, and so I didn't like it when I first went. And the same with rum. I didn't drink rum neat when I first went to Colombia. And then as a result of being there, and because when you go to the parties, people constantly give you drinks, just one drink after another, after another, after another. You can't help but get involved, get stuck in, as they say. so they hand out, they have these little plastic shot glasses in a stack, and so then they just keep pouring rounds of shots and keep giving them to people, until that's it, you're gone. But I miss a little bit. I miss that nostalgia of the aguardiente, having that flavour, because again I got used to it. I don't like aniseed generally, but then I got used to the flavour of aguardiente. And then there was like these myths of that people would say that if you got this specific brand, it wouldn't give you a headache and all of it. I think it was called Light or something like that. I can't remember. But that was amusing, because if you drink enough, you're going to get a hangover. But yes, and the memory that accompanies that for me is going to clubs, going to nightclubs and bars, And over there, in comparison to over here, you buy, as a group of friends, you buy a bottle of a spirit, of a liquor. So aguardiente, rum. You buy it and you just put it in the middle of the table, and then people drink it as they go along. So you buy the bottle rather than buying shots as we do here. And it just works out cheap, and everybody chips in. And that's it. Jobs are good. Un. So aguardiente, I miss you. Because it was, aguardiente is a big thing over there for the people who enjoy it. And they also, in the coast, in the Caribbean coast, they keep it on ice. They keep it in the freezer. So when it comes out, I think it's just the whole thing. It's the whole glass is frozen, is frosted, as the humidity in the air freezes on the bottle straight away. It just looks inviting, and then when you drink it, if you're really hot, it goes down and it cools you inside a little bit, and special. That's all I'm saying. It's special. So again, more so again because I spent a lot of time on the Caribbean coast. One of the dishes that they eat a lot there is juca, which is cassava in England. And so when they eat juca, they eat it boiled, and they eat it with everything. So it's like their version of potato, and they'll eat it with a lot of things. So it's a root vegetable. They cook it very similar to potato in all different ways. But the way that I really enjoyed it was juca frita, fried cassava. So it's just pieces like this, like just long, kind of again long cuboids kind of thing, chopped from the whole thing. And then they fry it. So they boil it first, so it's soft, and then they fry it so the outside in oil, so the outside becomes crunchy, and that's delicious. It's like chips, like British chips a little bit, but obviously juca, obviously the different food, and it's delicious. And again, you get all different dips, and you dip it, and it's amazing. And then so they have a thing. They have again over there. They have people who sell food outside the house in the street at night, late at night. And so you go there and I'm going to go up and I'm going to buy some as a special occasion. It's like going to going and buying fish and chips here on a special occasion in the week. I'm going to go and buy some fried stuff, and generally it's like juca frita. And then they also, out of the juca frita, they also make caremagnola, which is juca, and in the middle you've got meat or vegetables or different fillings in the middle, and they close it and then fry it so that when you bite into it, it's crunchy, and in the middle you've got filling, meat, whatever. Delicious. And then they do the same thing with potato. So they fill things, and it's called papa rellena, filled potato, and they fry that. So they get like mashed potato, and again, Zunny made some papa rellena last night, or tried to, and it wasn't the biggest success. We'll put it that way. And so she thinks it's something to do with the potato, so she hasn't perfected that yet. But I'm looking forward to when she does. But so it's potato. You mash it, so it's mashed potato, but not too liquidy, not too soft, because you then fill it, you remold it into a little ball, and then you fry it. The outside becomes crunchy, so it's exactly the same thing, but just so delicious. And then one of the most spectacular dishes in Colombia is the arepa de huevo, which is just the arepa, which is a dish eaten everywhere. So you have, I think, I'm not sure. You got different types of flour that make them. So you've got kind of small round ones that you have, and you can have that for breakfast. It's just, and you just put it over the grill, toast it a little bit, and then you put maybe a fried egg, a bit of cheese. That's delicious. But the arepa de huevo, they cook it, and I think it's corn flour, and they cook it, and they put, so it's like a disc. It's like a disc, but then they cut along the edge of it. So I believe they fry it once, just to get a bit of a crust. Then they cut along the edge and open it, almost like a pita pocket, open it. Then they crack an egg in, and they close it, and then they fry it. And again, what an incredible dish. What an incredible dish. It is beautiful. And again, you get it from these places, these fritos that sell fried stuff. And just again, but that like so it's no wonder like when I went there I was quite pretty fit and I was quite in shape, and it's no wonder that I lost a bit of that fitness while I was out there because the food's just been incredible. Amazing. Arepa de huevo. And so the memory that I have of that is, again, buying street food, waiting, ordering, and again, if you want, you can go and sit down just in a plastic seat next to the person who's cooking it, and they just cook it there, like a big, almost like a wok with oil in, and then they just put all their fried stuff in and cook it all off for you. You tell them what you want, and they'll shout you and tell you when it's ready, and that's it. Job's a good one. It was a bit. I miss like those dishes. I guess those dishes are similar to what you get in a fish and chip shop. You know, where they keep in the heated display. So where they keep all of those, I guess that's similar. But again, I miss it. I miss all those dishes. And then there was some dishes that were I think not so much known across Colombia, not so much eaten across Colombia, but more in the coast, the Caribbean coast, which I enjoyed. And again, I miss just trying all these little things. And the first one, I think is eaten at Easter, I believe, and it's called palmito. I don't know if it's eaten at Easter, maybe, but it's eaten in a specific time, and it's like almost like a broth, like I don't know if you call them broths, like a thin soup. I don't know what you call a thin soup, like a consommé. I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. I'm spouting some MasterChef words now that I don't really know the meaning of, but it's like a thin soup, so it's like almost like watery to look at. And palmito is the middle of the palm tree, so kind of the heart of the palm tree, cooked up, and I can't remember if there's other things in it, but it's cooked up and it's there, and that was a dish that not many people enjoy in Colombia or in the coast. That some people, because it's like bitter. So the taste of it is quite bitter. And then a similar dish, which again we have here at home because my wife makes it for us, and I think it's something from the coast again, is a soup called machucao. And the machucao is, I think it has egg, tomato, and a few other ingredients. I can't actually remember the ingredients, but again, very, very interesting. It's like a thin soup, but lots of flavour, lots and lots and lots of flavour. It's delicious, really delicious. But we don't eat enough in the UK. We don't eat enough homemade soups, I don't think. That's got everything that you need. It's got all the ingredients, but it's healthy. It's not packed full of carbs. It's just a thin soup with just a few ingredients, and it just tastes delicious. It's just delicious. Right, next one is I believe it was, I don't know if this is fritanga, or they also call it picada. Picada is chopped up, and fritanga, I don't know which it is. Anyway, but so they do a thing across Colombia, which is the picada, and it's where they take lots of different meats, but the meats are not your traditional. So it won't be like beef and a bit of pork and a bit of this. It's not like that. It's all the kind of what we would say in the UK would be the offcuts. So it's all the insides. So for example, you have chunchullo, which is the intestines, and you can see that it's the intestines, and it's a bit chewy. You have morcilla, which is like black pudding in the UK, but they add rice and peas into the sausage. You have bofe, which is another, but I'm not sure what the bofe is. So I was eating stuff that I didn't really even know what it was. It comes on a tray, and you can see all these different meats, and then you have a few criolla potatoes, papa criolla, on the side, and it's just like a big tray of meat, and it's delicious. It's delicious. I mean, it's a carnivore or somebody who's on keto. It's their dream because it's all just meat. It's all meat. And the special memory that I have of that is going to El Campín Stadium in Bogota to watch Millonarios play football. And we'd go, before the match, we'd go to this place. Again, Juan Manuel, he'd take me and we'd go to this special place where it's like a big marquee. And inside, they're cooking off all this incredible meat. All this meat that over here we don't even look at. But there, it's seasoned, it's cooked, it's fried, it's grilled, it's everything you can imagine. And it's just delicious. It's beautiful. And I really miss that. I mean, where can you go in the UK and just get grilled street meat? Nowhere does that. No, it's all burgers and patty this and gourmet this and that. Like, give me a place where I can just go buy cheap grilled meat that's just incredible flavors, and I'll spend all my time there because it's so much healthier. It's brilliant, and I just miss it. I miss those small businesses that aren't made to suffer as they are in our countries now, in the developed countries. It's a shame. It's a shame that people can't use their imagination to provide something that's of real great value at that level, without having to be hit all the time with this regulation, with that tax, with this, that. Just let nature take its course. So if anybody knows about that, fritanga, picada, Zuni seems to think that there's another word for those specific picadas. So let me know in the comments if you know what the other kind of word is or phrase. The next one was pezuña de cerdo or de choncho with beans. What a delicious dish. Pig's feet and beans. So it's similar. I think we do cook it over here as well. But again, you won't find pig's feet cooked in very many places now in the UK at all. But they do there. Pezuña or pig's foot in beans. And so it's cooked in a big pressure cooker with the feet of the pig, and it's just cooked. And again, what a delicious dish. Oh, again, why can't restaurants cook that here? Things like that. I'd love to eat it. And so you get served a pig's foot on your plate and a bowl of beans. And the pig's foot is it's fatty, and it's like, so what you have to do is you have to kind of eat through it, and then you eat through and you start taking away the bones, the small bones, the foot bones, like the finger bones, and you just put them to one side, but you eat through it, and it's delicious because it's being cooked in a pressure cooker. It's soft. It's just so good, and people don't think it would be nice, but it is incredible, and I miss that. And my memory of that is living with Juan Manuel in Bogota in his house for a period, and just him cooking that up, and we all had a piece of that, and it was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, imagine a restaurant. I could put together a Colombian restaurant here, and it'd fly with these dishes, with this variety of dish. It would be very easy. Who knows? If there are any investors out there who want to, I mean, restaurant manager by trade, I know how to really market and really run a restaurant really, really well. Get at me. If you're an investor, get at me and we'll open it. It's on my list of things to do in the future. So if you're interested, a drink now, a really specific, typical Colombian drink is agua de panela. So it's like brown sugar. I don't know how to describe panela, but it's like brown sugar, and it comes in a block. But it comes from sugar cane, so I'm like, I guess brown sugar. I don't know, But anyway, it's like crumble. So what they do is they have it with lemon juice. So you squeeze a load of lemons, you mix in the panela, and then you add maybe add some water just to dilute it up a little bit, and then you just fill it with ice. And especially when you're in a hot area of Colombia, it's one of the most delicious drinks. Just the lime juice, and the sugar, and the ice, and the water, and it's just refreshing. It's really refreshing. And the place that I have a memory from that is my mother-in-law's kitchen, sitting at the dinner table on the patio, and just the heat of the day, and she would just make up some agua de panela. And just pour it into metal. I remember the metal, almost like cocktail shakers, but metal cups that everybody in Colombia seems to have. And in one of these metal cups, so that you can feel the cold of the ice on your hand as well, and full of loads of ice. And when you drink it, it's just so refreshing. It really missed. And then going to restaurants in Cartagena specifically, actually, when I'd first met Zunny, and so we used to go to different restaurants, and we used to try different foods. And so one of the things, again, super refreshing, was limonada de coco. Limonada. So the lemonade there is made from fresh limes, and then with crushed ice. So it was almost like a frappe, but the ice would just be at the top, and so you'd still have plenty of juice. But the lemon. So again, the lemonade was just fresh lemonade, not like the lemonade that we have over here, the Sprite type stuff, or the R White's lemonade, just the carbonated rubbish. It's not like that. It was proper lemonade, and delicious lemonade. So then they used to mix it up with other things. So that one of the things that I used to adore was limonada de coco, coconut lemonade. And so they'd use coconut milk with the lime juice, with the ice, crush it up, mix it up, and it's spectacular. Spectacular. Coconut lemonade is spectacular. Incredible. Just the flavour, it's just delicious. And so whether you're using kind of coconut, well, they'd use fresh coconut milk, but it's just incredible. Just the flavours are brilliant. And again, I really like that. If I could bring that here, fresh, but I guess it's the expense of that. And then mixed kind of with that is the so you'd have limonada, which is lemonade, and then they'd do other varieties like cerezada, which is cherryade, cerezada de coco, cherryade with or coconut cherryade, and again, it's very similar, delicious. And they do, to be honest, thinking about the lemonade and the cherryade, fresh. The juice is there. The different tropical fruits that they've got there are mind blowing. Just mind blowing. Passion fruit juice, orange juice, feijoa juice, toronja, zapote. All of these different juices that they'd mix, and you could always ask them to have the juice with milk or with water. Either way, it's coming over to you. It's coming into your esophagus, and just full of flavour, just delicious. And again, we've missed. Where's our kind of fresh juice gone? We tend to only drink now squashes, processed juice, fizzy drinks. It's a shame, really. So then, kind of one of my next favourite dishes that we eat here, actually, but I do miss from like the experience in Colombia, is sancocho de gallina, which is hen soup. And it's just delicious. It's just all different vegetables: potato, sweet potato, yam, yuca, corn, all mixed in, and then with chicken, with chicken breast mix. It's just beautiful. It's just delicious. If you like food, it's just incredible. It's just, I'm running out of words, to be honest, to describe, but it's delicious. And So the way that the way that they serve it as well, and it's my memory. The memory that I have of it that's beautiful of being there is, we went to my sister-in-law's house. So we went to her kind of neighbourhood. She got a little patio out the front, and she cooked dinner for everybody. Cooked lunch for I think it was a Sunday lunch for everybody. So we all went round there. The family, all the different households came round. She cooked it, and they served it in what they call totumo. And totumo, so it's not a plate or any kind of dishes that we would use here. Totumo is a I guess it's the fruit of a tree, but it's a big ball, and they can come in different sizes, but they can be huge. It's a big ball that hangs from the tree, and it's just a huge ball, but it's solid, it's hard, it's like wood, it's like really solid. So they cut them down and they make them into, and I guess it's from like the indigenous times, which again, I love that sort of connection with our ancestors in the past. So they'll cut it with a saw, because it's like wood, and they'll take out the middle and everything else, and they'll dry it up. And so it's a bowl made out of this totumo. And then not only that, but they then also cut the rest into spoons like this, made out of the totumo, called cuchara de palo, which is like a wooden spoon. And it's just ingenious. So you're sat there with the bowl, and so I was handed this totumo, which was huge, and it was just full of the chicken soup, and a cuchara de palo, and so you eat it from this wooden spoon. You can't beat that, honestly. You can't beat that. All of us over here with our plates and our ceramic this, and I mean, like you want to be more natural. Then like that's the way to go. Like, get rid of all of the processed stuff that we use, and go to some of these natural alternatives. But again, we've lost our ability to create things like that, and we rely on the system to give us everything that we need, unfortunately now. And still on the soup theme, one of the other coastal soups that kind of I thought was incredible was cazuela de mariscos, which is seafood soup. So you'd order it. It'd come in kind of a big bowl, and inside you put your spoon in to the bottom. You lift it up, and there's just all sorts of mussels and scallops and sea snails and fish and prawns and squid, and so it's all of these things in the soup together. It's just a dream. It's just a dream. It's just delicious. I can't stress it enough. I think I'm having a bit of a food breakdown, a Colombian food breakdown at the moment, just thinking about this. It's amazing. Like, so you're digging out all of these beautiful, like, beautifully cooked, perfect pieces of seafood just in one soup. And again, if you're looking to be healthy and not eat, this is why people in these countries are so healthy and nobody's overweight, because they eat just the most amazing homemade dishes with the most amazing healthy food. Just almost zero fat, zero carbs. It's all meat of some kind or another. Unbelievable. So then, just kind of going off on a different track to a different dish that I used to really enjoy. It's more of a memory dish, actually. I didn't eat it that many times because it's like a special occasion dish, and it's called lechona. Lechona is they cook a whole pig, spit roast a whole pig, and then they cut the back, and I assume they take out like the spine and the rib cage. they cut like a square out the back, and so they take out all the bones, so you can still see the pig, and it's laid on like a big platter, and then they mix the meat up with I guess with like peas and with rice and with corn, and they mix it up, and it's delicious. But they cut the skin off the back, and then they make chicharrón. They make crackling, so you have a piece of crackling with it as well. And again, like incredible, unbelievable. And the memory that I have about this was when I'd first arrived in Colombia. So this was when I was doing teacher training to pass to be a teacher, an English teacher. And so I'd go to this place in Santa Barbara, I think it was called, which was like the main centre in Bogota. And so at lunchtime, you're free, go and have your lunch, whatever. So I'd go and have my lunch. And so at the time, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what anything was. I didn't speak Spanish. So I just used to follow the other teachers. Okay, we're going to go to this place called Carulla. And it's their version of Tesco or Asda. It's a supermarket. And it's the same. It's the same. Like if you didn't have different names on the food and stuff, you would walk in and you would just, this is a supermarket, the same as anywhere else. But anyway, this lechona was just in the middle of the food area where you go and order, like in Tesco, you know, the little restaurant part that you would go and order your food. It was just there in the middle with a guy with just a pair of tongs and just like, okay, who wants to order this? And so you take your plate up or your tray up if you were taking away or whatever, and you just absolutely fill it up with the pork and the mix with the rice and again, just unbelievable fresh meat, delicious. And then you just then take it up to the cashier, you pay, that's it, job's a good one. But lechona, so they eat it, I think they eat it on in special occasions and special events, and they make it and just a hog roast, just pig roast, and it's incredible. Next one is sopa de caldo de costilla, which is beef rib soup. Beef rib soup. Again, what a delicious dish with a beef rib like this in your bowl in soup. And this is the magic recipe, the magic dish to get over a hangover in Colombia, is to have caldo de costilla. You got a hangover? Nip out, go to a restaurant, get caldo de costilla. And so that's what we used to do, and that's the memory that I have and that I'll always take with me. Is we used to go out and we used to go and find little restaurants, breakfast restaurants in the morning, and we'd order caldo de costilla. Let's sort ourselves out, let's sort our head out, and let's have it. The beef rib soup. And again, it's like clear soup again, thin soup, with a few ingredients, and the beef is just the main. The beef rib is the main event, and it's just incredible. And yeah, you can have that anywhere. And again, if it's on the menu, I'll consider having it because it's just delicious. Beef rib here is expensive, but over there it's just a run of the day, run of the mill. It's just a dish. It's just another dish that everybody can have. It's amazing. So, kind of in the morning, we used to have huevos revueltos, which is mixed eggs, scrambled eggs. But there they do it with tomato, with onion, and mix it up, and it's just delicious. So we used to go. The memory that I have there is I used to go to work, teach from 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. And then we'd head out. That would be the morning session of classes. Then I used to head out and out to the restaurant. We'd all go together and we'd all go and have our scrambled eggs in the morning, and it was just brilliant, delicious. So I have that at home now. Very often I'll dice some onion, chop up some tomato, throw it in with some scrambled eggs. Job's a good one. So the next one's a bit of a weird one. Is bonche. It was called bonche. In the coast, it's called bonche, but in I guess inside they call it chigüiro. But I don't know. Yeah. I think it's just different names for the same animal. But the animal is capybara. So you know the largest rodent in the world, capybara. You see it on the TV, on Amazon type documentaries. It's the large aquatic rodent that jaguars eat, anaconda eats, all of that sort of stuff. So I had this chigüiro, this ponche, regularly. And the memory for me of eating that was going to, every lunchtime, we'd go to, when I was living in Cartagena, we used to go to this little restaurant, again, it was in a little shopping centre, but there was like a little mini food court type thing. But it was like really working class. It wasn't like a big franchise or anything like that. These were little restaurants that people made money from, that were street food almost. So we used to go to one called Donde Fabiola, and so the owner was called Fabiola. So Donde Fabiola means where Fabiola is. So you go there, and this woman was really cool, like this older lady. She'd got all of she'd got big pots of all different food, and she used to sell all different stuff. So she used to say, like, you'd go and you'd say, "What have you got today?" And she'd say, "Oh, I've got ponche, I've got deer, I've got chicken, I've got fish. What do you want?" She'd always got like a really nice manner about her as well. "What do you like, darling? What would you like?" Like, and so me and Zunny, in the end, we used to, if we were there at the end of lunch, we'd order our food, we've had our food, and we'd go and sit there. So we'd sit there, and she'd make our dinner, and then her and her husband, because he'd come and help her pack away, they'd come and sit while we were finishing our dinner. So it was really nice, just sit with us and just talk about anything. And that's what it's all about. They didn't rush to pack everything away. They were happy to accompany us eating, not make us feel unwelcome that it's time to go. They were happy to just sit down and just talk with us. So anyway, so I had ponche. It was one of my favourite. It was one of my favourite dishes from that little restaurant when she had it, because it was like shredded ponche, like almost like shredded beef. So if you've got shredded beef, but not like a Chinese shredded beef where it's fried, shredded beef like pulled pork. Sorry, so it was similar to like pulled. It was like pulled meat, and then she used to have rice and beans, a little bit of salad. Something else. It might be like it could be like a potato salad or a coleslaw or something like that, and then the ponche. But these trays were like this. They were huge, and this was another reason I put on a lot of weight while I was there, because I had one of these every day, and you'd have juice as well, or you'd also have soup. Sorry, so you'd pay not a lot of money, and you'd have a pot of soup like this as your starter, and you could take it. So you could take it away. It was in like one of these polystyrene trays. So you'd have that as the starter, you'd have a juice, and you'd have this tray just full, and you'd have like the meat and the rice and I used to just mix it all together, because I love doing that with food anyway. But I'd mix it all together, and if I could bring one person to the UK, it would be Fabiola, and let her set her restaurant up here, and it would be a massive hit. And I'd set her up in one of these little one of these food spaces that are fashionable now, these kind of indoor food courts, but that have independent food sellers there. And she'd fly. She'd absolutely fly. God, I really missed. I missed that. I missed that little restaurant. But yeah, chigüiro, capybara meat, incredible, delicious. And again, they used to have all different meats from the they say from El Monte, from the mountain, so basically it means wild. It means wild animals, deer, rabbit, fish. It's just experiencing different foods and then realizing that you're a big fan. So another wild animal that I tried, and the memory was of being in San Juan Nepomuceno, which is where my wife's family lives. And there's a restaurant there called Donde el Mono. And so again, this was a guy who'd obviously, in his house, he'd started selling at his house, but it had become so big that at the side of his house, he built like a huge marquee again. And then eventually, I think he actually built like a roof on top of it and everything. So it was like a proper. So it was a proper restaurant. So you'd go in and there's like wooden benches across this place, fans from the ceiling. Very rustic, but amazing. And so the animal that I had there was armadillo. And so this armadillo comes cut through the shell. So the way it came on my plate was, I guess it had got rice and it had got salad and everything else, but it was the shell of the armadillo, like this, with meat on the inside of the shell, still stuck to the shell, and I think it was like a smoky flavour. I think they'd like smoked it. So I tried it, and so this is on my list of foods that I miss from Colombia, not because I liked it, but because of the experience of it. Just, I like the fact that you can go and experience all these different foods. So this armadillo, I tried it and I just wasn't a fan. I was like, I don't like it. And I said to Zuni, for whatever reason, I don't enjoy this meat. It's not like it's got the smoky flavour, but I'm just not sure. And she said, it's funny you should say that, she said, because there's a thing here where people say that if you give armadillo meat to a dog, the dog won't eat it. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, why did you let me order it then? Like, what's the reason? Like, the dogs won't eat it, and yet you've given me a plate of armadillo to try and eat. So that was kind of funny. The dogs won't eat the armadillo. So I wasn't a fan, but it was just bizarre to see the outside of the shell and the meat. It was really interesting. But yeah, so they eat a lot of interesting things over there. Here's another soup for you. Catfish soup. So in a lot of the rivers over in Colombia, there's a lot of catfish, a lot of tropical catfish, lots of different catfish, and they're quite bony. The catfish are. The head of the catfish is very bony, and so the one day we had, it was in Cartagena, and we'd gone to a really nice restaurant, and I can't think of the name to give it a shout out, but it's a really famous restaurant, and you go in, and we ordered this catfish soup, and so the soup's delicious. The soup is delicious, but when you fish to the bottom, you pull up parts of the fish, so you pull up. Like there might be a fin, and there might be with spikes on it, and then there might be you see like the mouth, which is really interesting. Like kind of the mouth and the head, you can pull parts of that up, and that's still intact like a bone. And but a delicious soup. But again, just showing the resourcefulness of that you eat everything, you put everything in, and the flavour that comes out rather than taking just this little bit of this and a little bit of fillet, and you for the soup you put the lot in, and you cook it up, and that's where you get all the flavour from. So catfish soup, again, delicious, really nice. And I mean, a lot of the food, some of the food gets it takes some getting used to. So another soup that took me a long time to get used to was mondongo. Mondongo is tripe soup. So again, here in England, here in the UK, tripe you can buy it in the supermarkets, but nobody really buys it to eat it anymore themselves. So tripe is the stomach, I believe, the stomach lining, and people buy it these days and give it to their dog and whatever else. And it's cheap, and it's nutritious because it's organs. Organs are packed full of nutrients and packed full of good stuff for your body. And the soup is the mondongo is cleaned, and it's everything else, and it's cut into like cubes, and then cooked in the soup with potato, with corn, but it looks like, because it's the inside of the stomach, it looks like furry, like a towel, and it looks chewy. So the first time that I had it, I really struggled because of the way it looked and the way it felt in my mouth and the way I had to eat it, because I didn't want to insult the people that made the soup. It was when I first arrived. I didn't want to insult the people who'd made it, so I And I remember eating it. I remember eating and having this feeling of this like slimy, chewy meat. But it was more the thought of what it looked like than actually what it was, like the actual feeling. And it just put me off. But I remember eating it and having to like, I'm not squeamish with food, but I remember having to kind of think happy thoughts and just swallow to get through the dish. And so and that was at the time. But then over time, I started to order it, and I started to order it in different restaurants to give it another try. Let me try a bit of that. So I'd try it, and I'd try it, and I'd try it, and eventually, I really enjoyed it, and it's delicious. Mondongo is one of my favourite soups now, and Zuni cooks it regularly. It's so delicious. I'd recommend it to anybody. I really would. If you get the chance to try tripe soup, it's delicious, and I don't miss that because my wife makes it for me. It's amazing. The next one is, and this is something that's across. I think it's across Latin America, but I love the one. I love how they make it in Colombia, and I love how it tastes in Colombia, which is empanada, and they look like little Cornish pasties in shape. So the shape is like a little bit of a half moon. Again, it's like corn dough, opened up and filled, closed. I guess it's like closed over the top, sealed, and then put in a deep fryer. Put in a fryer, and they fry, and then you buy it in the street. And my memories are you go and you buy 2 or 3 in the street, and you eat them there in like with a tissue because of the grease, and with maybe a paper bag. And you you stand there and you just keep putting hot sauce on. Empanada and hot sauce. Incredible. Empanadas are just beautiful with different meats. So it might be beef, it might be chicken, it might be vegetable, whatever. It's similar to also to samosa, the Indian fried dish. But another memory of the empanada and the arepa de huevo and carimañola and the papa rellena and all of that was my brother-in-law took me to El Festival del Frito, which is the fry up festival where they make all of these. So it was a festival in Cartagena where you just walk around the different stalls. And each of the people have different ones, different flavours of arepa de huevo, different flavour of carimañola, different with fish, with this, with that, empanada, with empanada de camarones. But the problem with that place is like you can't eat too much. So once you've chosen like 1 or 2 of these dishes, that's it, you're done. Because you can't fit any more in your belly. You can't fit any more. But that was a good memory as well. Music everywhere. You're walking around. You're just picking up all of these like fried, crunchy fried dishes. Delicious. So I'm coming towards the end now of the dishes that I'd just love. I miss, and I'd love to put in a restaurant over here. They eat a lot of fish in the coast, on the Caribbean coast, and so one of the most popular ones is mojarra. Mojarra is tilapia. So over here in the UK we call it tilapia. If you go to a Caribbean food store or restaurant or whatever, you'd ask for tilapia, and they just fry it. They fry it. They like shallow fry it in a wok, and they just keep turning it until it's fried whole, head, fins, everything. They just fry it whole. And then they serve it then with yuca or cassava, yam, salad, egg salad, potato salad, coleslaw, rice. So they'll serve it with all these different things, and it's just delicious. It's just because it's fresh. So you pull the meat away from the bone, and you just eat just the meat. And so like I ate mojarra a lot in Colombia, but one of my a couple of my memories, like I went to like a little biological reserve that we walked around. We saw monkeys, we saw different things, and it was quite small. Bats inside these weird, dilapidated little buildings. We went in, then you could see bats flying in and out during the day. This was, but you saw the tilapia, the mojarra. There was like a little pond, and you could clear, very very clear pond, and you could see them swimming around. And so I guess like if you were to fish and catch mojarra, that you could like cook them, you could take them and cook them. But then so like, one of my best cooking experience of mojarra was we went to Volcán de Totumo. El Volcán de Totumo, yeah. So it's a mud volcano. So went to this mud volcano. It's like a volcano, but it's very touristic. So it's got steps that goes up the side, and you go in the top of the volcano, and there's mud in there, liquid mud. And you go down the steps, you get into it, and you just float. So because the mud's really viscous, you don't sink, you just float, you're just there, like suspended in the mud. And so people cover themselves in mud and everything else, really cool. But so when you finish there, you go down into the there's a lake next to the mud. So you walk down, they say to you, now you finish, go down, and you get washed off in the mud. In the lake, you wash all the mud off in the lake, not wash off in the mud. And the funny thing is there's women there, like enterprising women, who wait for the tourists, and they say, right, I'll wash you, like I'll wash the mud off for you, and you pay them, and they might give you a massage and everything else. And so there's like people at this lake's quite shallow. The edge of the lake is quite shallow, so you can sit in the water and wash all your mud off and everything else. And like, so at the time I said to the ladies, no, like I'm fine, thank you, I can wash myself. But you can see other tourists along the edge with the women. They've got like a little bowl, and they're washing all the mud off and making. So that's like an interesting experience. And then as we're walking up, we said, okay, let's grab a bite to eat. Let's grab some lunch. So that's again kind of little makeshift kiosks with marquee tents that people have put up, and so people saying, if you want lunch, come on in. Yep, we'll go in. So we went in. This lady invited us in, sat down. What would you like? Oh, we'll have mojarra, please. And she said, yeah, okay. Which one would you like? And on the back, she's got fish that she's just caught. Moments ago, whoever's fishing out there, bring them in, and they've just put them there, and they're just ready to go. And so some of the biggest tilapia that I've ever seen in my life was these huge tilapia. Yeah, we'll have that one, please. And it was like this. The fish was like this, and she cooked it in and fried it in the like the big wok, the big pan. Oh, and it was so good. So good, so fresh, so healthy, amazing, brilliant. And then a couple of the other dishes, the other fish that we ate for breakfast mainly in my mother-in-law's house was a fish called boca chico, which reminds me of a chub in England, but a bit like a smaller. So it was kind of like a smaller fish, but that was quite bone. It got quite a lot of bones in it. So as you eat it, you're constantly kind of picking bones out. And that was one of the only things that was annoying, a little bit annoying. And it was the same with another fish called arenca. So we ate some of those. So they have the fish for breakfast, and they have the fish for breakfast with cassava, maybe a little bit of egg on the side as well. It's just amazing. Just all that really fresh, good food for your body. None of this sugar, none of this cereal, none of this toast. It's just food for your body. It's just fuel. You're just fueling your body. That's all you're doing. So obviously you're gonna be happier and healthier. And then kind of like these are the last couple now, and I hope that you've enjoyed me talking about this and hearing about all the different foods. And if you've been to Colombia yourself, hopefully it's brought back some nostalgia. But one of the big memories for me, and I've already talked about the street food and the street sellers and things like that, but is you can buy coffee from the street sellers. Un cafecito, a little coffee.
Un oficio que los distingue, los vendedores de tinto, un reemplazo rentable de las artesanías propias de su cultura.
And it's hard to explain the coolness, like the cultural experience of ordering a coffee. And so originally it was a case of watching the other people do it and knowing what the cultural norms are of how you order one. And what I mean is to us in the UK, it would come across maybe as rude, or it'd come across as I don't know. But the way that they would do it, there would be somebody walking, and their job is they used to carry all day. They'd carry like a wooden box with a wooden handle on top, almost like a carry tray type thing, and they carry two of them full with flasks of different things: coffee with no sugar, coffee with sugar, coffee with no sugar, hot chocolate. There's another one, chocolate bolli, I think it was called, and so that was different. That was like it was made of like, I think it was made of maize, but they called it chocolate, and it was like that was delicious. It was like a beige color, so it wasn't like a coffee. It was like something else. It was really nice. Anyway, so they'd be walking down the street. They'd just be walking, and the people would whistle them, like, come here, like, and that's how you would order. Then they'd come over and they'd put it down. You say, can I have two of that, two little coffees, please? And so they'd also have these, again, the little shot glasses, the little plastic shot glasses, and they'd give you one, and they'd pour it, and they'd give it you, and you'd pay nothing. It was like pennies, and you'd pay it to them. And so it's like a concentrated coffee, really strong, really sweet, and so that was it. And people would just order them, and that was like a pick me up for the day, I guess. Like your working day, and you just order one as the guy comes past, and because everybody orders them, they make a decent living from it. But it's a cool, relaxed kind of way of life, and cafecito. Like imagine here having people walking around in the street here that you can just call over and say, oh, can I have a little coffee? Just a little strong coffee, please. You just drink it, and so. But that's life. That's life there. It's brilliant. And you'd also get this is my final thing that I miss and memory is you'd get sellers in the street. What was that? Mr. Frosty. So you remember the Mr. Frosties in the UK, which was like a little machine that you would put ice in, and then you would turn the handle, or I don't know if it was battery operated, and it would make like crushed ice, and then you would put flavors on it. Over there, they have a similar thing, but in the street, called raspao. And the raspao is like raspao means to me means like scraped. So I guess that's what's happening to the ice, is it's getting like scraped. So they'll have like a big block of ice. They've got like a trolley with this contraption on the top, and it will grind the ice. Oh, it might be raspao, might be ground or something, but and then they'll have like a little paper. So again, really, really nature friendly, biodegradable. A little paper cone. So they'll have a stack of cones, and they'll hold it below, and they'll wind this grinder that will grind the ice, and it pours the ice in until it's like a little mountain on your thing. And then they'll put all sorts of stuff. They'll put condensed milk, then they'll put raspberry syrup, then they'll put mango syrup, then they'll put passion fruit syrup, and then they'll put something on top, and then they'll put. So you're left there with this raspao, and all of this syrup has gone through the ice and the condensed milk, and it's divine. It's incredible. And again, it goes back to like letting people be inventive with what they do with selling and without being too regulatory that you can't use your imagination to go and put food on the table. Yeah, you've got to make it safe. You've got to be careful and make sure that things are safe. But people should be allowed to do these things, in my opinion. So that's it. That's my memory lane, my gastronomic memory lane of Colombia, and the things that I really miss about eating, the things that I miss eating from Colombia, and the food experiences that I've had there. If you're Colombian, then let me know what you think about my takes on your food, on the things that you eat there. If you've been to Colombia, then let me know what your favourite dishes were. What did you enjoy? What are the foods that blew you away or that you weren't too keen on? There's a few others I haven't included that I haven't tried, I've heard of and haven't tried, like the hormiga culona, things like that. But I just want to get some feedback. Let me know what you think. Drop me some comments down and below, and let me know. Let me know how it's going. So this was a bit of a different Drinks with Chris. I just wanted to share some of my thoughts on the things that I miss about Colombian food. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back soon. Give it a like, thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't, and come back. I hope you have a great week. I upload videos every Friday or Saturday, so look out for them. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and hit the little bell notification so that it'll tell you when I've uploaded a video. And then grab yourself a drink, come back next week, sit down, and let's talk here on Drinks with Chris. Thanks very much. I'm starving now. I'm going to go and have something to eat. Speak to you soon. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.